I want to move on, though, and talk about something a little more exciting, a little more historic and positive. Dusty Baker of the Houston Astros won his 2,000th game over the weekend. 2,000 games. Actually, it was on Tuesday, I believe. He is the 12th manager all time to win 2,000 games. This is an absolutely incredible feat, especially once you start thinking about the player that he was on the field. 2,000 wins is remarkable. Almost 2,000 hits, almost 250 career home runs. I mean, it just goes on and on for Dusty Baker. And the cool thing about getting to 2,000 as a manager is it's an automatic ticket to the Hall of Fame. Automatic. 10 of the 12 are in the Hall of Fame. The only one that isn't is Bruce Bochy, who just retired and will absolutely be getting into the Hall of Fame. Now Dusty Baker gets to 2,000. He was talking post-game about this and was talking about Jim Crane, the owner of the Astros. And he said, I just want to thank Jim Crane for giving me the opportunity. I told him I want to be here through win number 2,000. He gets there, and now the sky's the limit for the Astros. That gets out of the way. Now it's all about the team. Let's talk about Dusty Baker for a minute and some of these accolades now. Some of the rare air that this puts him in. One, he's one of one. The only African-American manager to 2,000 wins. Incredible. He joins Tony La Russa as the only active manager to 2,000 wins. No one else is even really close. Terry Francona, I think, will get there, but not for a few years. I mean, it's incredible. He had 1,981 hits as a player. What he was able to do as a player and as a manager is the most rare air of all. Joe Torre is another one that comes to mind, obviously, all that he did on the field. But Dusty Baker deserves to be talked about in the highest light. He has done it all. He won a World Series as a player. The one thing he has not done as a manager is win the World Series. He got there last year again with the Astros, but he couldn't pull through. I remember after the game the other day, they were talking to my brother, Justin Verlander, about Dusty Baker. And he said, I was talking to Dusty after it happened and asked him, some of the milestones that he's seen along the way. He's like, I know he's been around for a while. I wanted to see what he's seen. And he goes, Justin, I'll put it to you this way. I got to see Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's record, and I got to see Barry Bonds break Hank Aaron's record. And that's pretty cool. He actually saw Hank Aaron break the record. He was in the on-deck circle when it happened. Pretty cool. Pretty rare air there for Dusty Baker. Rare air there. Conrad, where are we going next, my friend?
You know what? Let's stick with this Astros team and how they are still the kings of the AL West.
Yeah, this Astros team that Dusty Baker is managing is still great. And let me start by saying, yes, the AL West is vastly improved. Way better. The Mariners are much better. The Angels are doing great. I actually had them at number 5 in my power rankings this past week. But what we saw over the last few days is that Mariners team that a lot of people are talking about coming into town, going to Houston, and getting swept by the Astros. The Astros are now 14-11 and just a game and a half out of first place behind that much improved Angels team. Until somebody proves that they can take down the Houston Astros in the division, it's still theirs. Don't overreact. Don't think much into it. Don't think too much into a slow start. The last time the Astros started slow? Last year. You know where they ended up? The World Series. Division champs and the World Series. So yes, there's not as much room for error with this Astros team because the rest of the division is really good. The Mariners are good. The Angels are really good. But now they're turning around. They are able to, unlike any team that I have ever seen, flip a switch, hit go, absolutely take off and play well when they need to. And they're playing well right now, Conrad.
Yeah, it's seemingly always like every year they play. Over the last like 5-6 years, they've set like a blueprint that I think is the new blueprint for success in Major League Baseball. You bring up that young core of Altuve, Correa, Bregman, Springer. You have all this really good young core. You let them grow under A.J. Hinch for a couple years. They win a World Series, and now they lose the Springer and the Correa. And for most teams, that'd be like, oh, wow, we're back in rebuild. And then you had Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker. They just seemingly have found a way to prolong this franchise's run for, I mean, who knows how long? It's unbelievable.
That's why I think they are still the kings and the cream of the crop in the AL West. Because, yeah, you're right. This team won a World Series in 2017, has been to 5 consecutive ALCSs. But they just keep coming at you. And yes, the players on the field deserve tons of credit. The front office deserves so much credit as well for the way that they have drafted, for the way that they have developed players. It's almost like it's just like a Ferris wheel of talent coming through. And you're right, you lose Carlos Correa, and it's like, man, the Astros aren't going to be as good this year. And I'm not saying that Jeremy Pena is Carlos Correa, because he's not, and we shouldn't expect him to be. But he's sure serviceable at the spot, to say the least. He's been fantastic. And it's just like, no matter where you lose somebody, okay, next guy in line, next guy in line. And I don't know if you can say that for other teams in the division. You might be able to start too soon with the Angels. You know, I think they've started drafting well. But like right now, if they were after this year to lose a guy, I don't think they have a piece to just plug in and be just as good. I think the Mariners are getting to that point where they have just tons of talent ready. But the Astros are there, and they got there before everybody else. And before another team comes along and knocks them off that top spot, the Houston Astros are still the cream of the crop in the AL West, and I won't be hearing any of it. Yes, other teams are better. No, they aren't as good as the Houston Astros yet, and they need to go above and beyond proving that to prove to me that this division isn't the Houston Astros.
Yeah, I mean, after watching all 3 games against the Mariners over this week, 2 blanks for the Mariners offense, who seemingly just been on like a bad spurt of not scoring runs. But the thing that's always got me about the Astros is that no matter how many guys you can shut down that lineup, there's always another guy that can step up and produce. If you shut down Altuve, you shut down Bregman, you're like, yeah, we got it going today. And then Kyle Tucker goes 3 for 5 with 3 RBI. Or if not, Yordan Alvarez has 2 home runs. I mean, do you think that this Astros team really, like I asked before, that they've set a new blueprint for Major League Baseball of how to be successful on a grand scale, not for 3 years, not for 4 years, but for 7, 10 years, where you can keep bringing these guys in and then make trades for your brother, make trades for Garrett Cole, and just continue to be a successful franchise in that manner?
Yeah, absolutely. They are setting a blueprint, and they have been. And we've seen other teams now adopting that theory. And you're right. Now it's this perfect combination of the Astros having a young, really good core. You know, you still have Bregman. You now have Jeremy Pena involved in it. Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve. I mean, you still have that core, and then you pair in what they start to do. You get that core together, and then you bring in the pieces to finish it off. You bring in the Justin Verlanders, who threw yesterday, who threw Wednesday for the Houston Astros and had another really good start. 6 2/3, only 2 runs. Threw awesome. His first time since Tommy John surgery going over 100 pitches, which was really, really important. Another hurdle that he was able to get past. I know that was something that they had been trying for him, for the team. That was that next step. He was able to cross that 100-pitch mark. And he did it, and he did it well. And it's a guy like that you bring in and you pair with that young team, and then you start doing that with the bullpen. You start doing that with Michael Brantley a few years ago. That all just culminates to the team going to 5 consecutive AL Championship Series, which is just absolutely incredible. So the cream of the crop in the AL West, until somebody proves otherwise, is the Houston Astros.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.